If you have access to a chair or a bench or a lounge, just to do some dips on. Now, if you don't, please don't worry, you have the option of doing push-ups instead. But if that's handy, make sure you have a chair around. And then 2 thick books, Michelle, or 2 yoga blocks, just for your hands. Yep. All right. Guys, just 30 seconds there, but start to come to your feet. We're going to go through a body limber first. So as we did last week, just making sure you're mute. Okay, so as we did last week, we'll go through a body limber. Every exercise that we're doing, we're going to focus on working through our full range of movement. So we're trying to train strength through that full range. And we've got a mix of upper body, lower body, and some core or trunk work in there as well. So just standing up on your feet, we'll just warm up through the shoulders. So some full backward arm circles. Okay, so working all the way around. Donna, good afternoon. Good, let's go forwards. Okay, all the way up and around. That's it. Okay, and some German arm swings. I'm going to bring the bottom arm across the front of my body and the top arm comes down behind. So I'm actually just trying to stretch out through the lats, through the triceps. That's it. Good. Okay. And then just spacing your feet slightly, hands behind your head. I'm going for a double pulse. So nice and controlled. Just trying to take that second pulse or second bounce a little bit further around. So we're rotating here through the torso, through the spine. Good, let's get another 3, 2, and 1 in. Bring one hand to your chest, one hand out to the side. Rotate again for a double pulse, but we're just aiming to open up a little bit more through the chest and torso this time. That's it. So again, trying to squeeze that second pulse a little bit further around if you can. Last 3. Good, 2. And 1. Okay, guys, bring your feet into a straddle. Hands on the hips, and I'm just hinging forward. So I'm starting to stretch out the back of the legs and the hamstrings standing up. So hinging forward. Good. Okay, if you feel that you would like to step this up a notch, we're going to go through a few more. You can leave your hands on your hips, or you can come up above your head. So same thing, still aiming for a nice long spine. Good, otherwise just back down on the hips or behind the head is fine. Okay, let's go for another 3. Good, see if we can push the tailbone out behind us. We're trying to get a little bit lower each time. 2. And 1. All right, I'm going to get you to fold over into a straddle fold. So you can bend your knees if you like, place your hands on the floor if you need to. And I'm just going to walk my hands from my left foot all the way out in front and across to my right side. So just in your own time, walking them from one foot across to the other. So a bit of a stretch through the hamstrings, maybe through the spine, lower back. Good, so we're rotating and lengthening. Just a couple more here each way. Last one back the other way. Okay, I'm going to get you to stay in your straddle but come back into a standing position, and we're just going to turn the toes out a touch. So we're going into just some squats for the moment. So I'm just going to pull my hips down, pull my knees out over my toes, just a comfortable squat. And standing back up. So just a wide squat for now. So let's do about another 5. 1. Good. So actively pull your hips down. That's it. And we're also actively pulling your knees back. 3. That's it. Couple more. 2. So trying to get a little bit lower each time. And 1 more. Good. Okay, now let's turn these into some Cossack squats. So if you remember these, this is where we pull our knee out over the toe. Try and keep our heel flat on the ground. We're going as low as we can, and then we stand back up, okay? And then work to your other side. So small movements are fine. It might be a small side lunge, back to the top. So just working as low as you can, okay? Good, so a little bit lower if you're comfortable. So we're going to go for about a minute. So just gently warming up left to right. That's it. So as I start to lower down, I'm making sure my knees pulled nice and wide over my toe. If I can, I'm gently trying to squeeze that hamstring down onto the calf and I'm working my ankle because that foot is staying flat on the floor as well. Couple more here. So guys, we're just making sure our adductors are nice and warm because there'll be a similar exercise in our first set tonight as well. Let's do one more to each side. Who did I see jump in there? I saw, oh, Josephine, how are you going? Good, one more. Okay, pausing there. All right, guys, I'm going to get you to pop down onto the floor. Let's just warm up these toes and ankles a little bit more. So I have my toes tucked under. All right, so from that position, I'm just going to lift up onto my knees and I'm gently rocking forward. And I'm going to push back. I'm going to try and sit back on my heels. So gently rocking forward, trying to sit back on the heels. So let's get a couple of these in. So also warming up through the wrists a bit. Push back, sit right back on the heels. Couple more. Now guys, if you can't tuck your toes under, please leave them flat, that is fine. Let's get 2 more in. Good, sitting right back on those heels. That's it, 1 more here. Okay, nicely done. Come back into your quadruped position, okay. So from here, what we're going to look to do, keeping your elbows straight, I'm gonna try and squeeze my shoulder blades together and then push the floor away. So the only thing that moves, hopefully you can see, the only thing that moves are my shoulders. So elbows stay nice and straight. Let's just get 10 reps in. So down for 1, pushing straight back up. Good, 2, and up, that's it. 3, so we're just trying to isolate the movement of our shoulder blades. See how much movement we have there. 4, good. 5, that's it. Nice and controlled as you go down for 6, and push up to the ceiling. 7, that's it, keeping the head nice and still as well. 8, let's do 2 more. 9, good, and 10. Okay, guys, from that position, walk your hands forward. Let's just stretch out through the chest and shoulders a little bit more. So my hips are nice and high over my knees, popping up onto your fingertips, and just some little pulses up and down here for 10 seconds. So just small pulses, pressing the chest and shoulders down towards the floor. That's it. Good. Let's go for another 3, 2, and 1. Okay. As you come out of that position, let's sink into your seal. So if you're more comfortable on your forearms, that is fine. Otherwise, just to open up through the lower back as well, you can lift onto your hands. A few small rotations here. So I'm just starting to rotate, try and look over my shoulder. But with your hips, guys, we're always trying to push those hips down into the floor. Okay. From there, space those feet a touch, tuck your toes under. I'm just going to push back into your downward dog. So I'm going to push up through my shoulders, try and push my heels into the floor, and then come back into seal. Okay, let's go for 5. So pushing heels into the floor, try and push your chest through. That's it. 4. Well done. So warming up through your shoulders and wrists here as well. 3, so pushing the armpits back towards your toes. Couple more. 2. Nicely done. And 1 more here. Okay. Well done. Popping up onto your knees. So you guys, we're just going to warm up our bent arm push. So that's for things like your push-ups. So we are going to do a few push-ups to warm up. Now you have the option of doing these in a kneeling plank position. So I've taken my knees back, so I'm in a half plank, or you can lift up onto your toes. We're just going to go through 10 reps. You can choose what you feel most comfortable with. Elbows stay in. We take our nose to the floor if we can, and we push straight back up. All right, let's go for 10. None of those demo reps counted. Ready? And down for 1. Pushing all the way up. 2. Good. All the way up. 3. Nice. 4. 5. So full range of movement, elbows tucked into your side. 6. Lovely. 7. That's it. 8, 9, and 10. Beautiful. All right. Just gently roll your wrists out. And we're going to come into a table position. So I'm going to get you to have a seat on the floor. Your fingers are going to face behind. And we're just warming up our shoulders in extensions. I'm going to try and pull my shoulders back together and then lift my hips up to the ceiling, lowering back down. Okay, so away we go. Shoulders back. Lift your hips just as high as you can. Lower back down. Good. Shoulders back. Let's keep going for 10. Okay, just skim the floor with your hips in between. 9. Good. 8. So your focus should be on squeezing your shoulder blades together here throughout. 7. That's it. And we're trying to push our chest through at the top. 6. 5. So your fingers are facing behind or out to the sides. 4. Couple more here. 3. Good. Really squeeze those shoulders back in together. 2. And 1 more. All right, guys, pausing there. Now, as you come out of that, if your elbows feel a little bit tender, just take them through a few circles. So we've been loading them in that position. Roll the wrists out as well if you need to. And we're going to jump into the first part of the session. So we have 3 exercises and we're going to do 2 sets on each. So we're going to go through, so for this exercise, guys, we're going to go through some scap shrugs, some side to side squats, and my last one, some squat rocks. So I will show you all of them. If you have any dumbbells or kettlebells that you'd like to throw into these, you can as well. So with your scap shrugs, we did these on our knees in the warm-up. What we're going to try and do is take these to our toes in a plank. So my elbows stay nice and straight. I squeeze my shoulder blades together, push straight back up. So we're going for 60 seconds. If that is too easy for some of you, space your feet, take one hand up, and you can do a single arm scap shrug for 30 seconds and then swap sides. Alrighty guys, getting ready to go. We have a minute of work here. Let's start in 3, 2, and 1. All right, the clock is on, so we're nice and hollow. Squeeze your glutes. We're trying to shrug the shoulder blades together, push back up. Good. Now guys, if you get tired, you can come to your knees. So if you feel that you're fatiguing and you're starting to sink in your lower back, you can come to your knees at any time. Good. Who can I see there? Shell, Adonna, Linda. Well done. So nice and slow as you squeeze the shoulder blades together. We're just over halfway here. Nicely done. So elbows are nice and straight. You're starting to arch through that lower back. Just try and tuck that tailbone under. We have 15 seconds to go. Nice and controlled, nice and slow as you lower down. Nice and strong as you push back up. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pausing there. Nicely done. So we'll do a minimal rest between these. So minimal, not 1 minute, so not much rest. Standing up. With your side to side squats, we're going to turn our toes out and I'm in my straddle. So this time I'm going to sit down as low as I can. I'm going to stay there and I'm going to use the heel to pull across to the other side. So I'm not actually standing up. Use your heel to pull across to the other side, okay? If you can do this a bit lower, do it a little bit lower. 60 seconds, getting ready to go. If you have a weight, put it under your chin. All right, away we go. So lowering down to one side. So you sit as low as you can. Use your heel. Pull yourself, so both knees will bend as you transition. In your own time, left to right, away you go. Pull back to the other side. Good, chest is fairly upright, that's it. So sitting as low as you can. If you need a little bit of support, you can face a wall and you can have your hands on the wall for support. That's it. Good, halfway through. Stay as low as possible. Good, make sure we're trying to pull our knees out to the side. Good, Michelle. Keep transitioning. Last 15 seconds to go. Good, pull the knees nice and wide as you work from left to right. Last 5, you can even use your fingers on the floor if you need to. 3, 2, and 1. All right, if you are close to the floor, you can come down to the floor. If you need to walk those legs out for a moment, you can walk those legs out. So some squat rocks. Now we'll give an alternate, guys, if anyone has toes or feet that aren't comfortable in this position. I'm going to sit on my heels, okay? So from this position, I'm looking to stay as low as I can, rock back to flat feet in a squat, and back to my knees. Now, if I can't squat this low, I'm just gonna stand up until I can get my heels flat. And I'm gonna rock forward to my knees, okay? So let's see how we go for balance here. If you can't do this with your feet, guys, you are just going to come into a standing position and we're just going for squat reps, okay? All right, away we go, 60 seconds. So kneeling to a low squat. Back to a kneeling position, and we're trying to keep it nice and controlled. So we're working through our big toe, ankle and knee mobility. If you have a chair there as well, guys, you need a bit of balance. You can always use the chair or the wall for balance. That's it, 30 seconds to go. If you overbalance, guys, and land on your backside, pop up, keep going. Good. You might find this easier if you space your feet. Last 15, a little bit harder if you keep your feet together. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And pausing there. Okay, so let's do a short 30-second rest. We're going to do one more round on each of those. So we'll go back in a moment, we'll go back into our plank position and into our shrugs, okay? So guys, with your plank position as well, just making sure that when you set yourself up, if you feel that you're arching in your lower back, we just try and almost tuck that tailbone under or squeeze our glutes together to get that hollow shape. Okay, 60 seconds. Let's go in 5, 4, let me start this timer, 3, 2, and 1, away we go. So, plank position, if you're unsure, stick your butt up, and then we're trying to tuck it the other way. Yep, so Jamie, tuck the other way. That's it. Sorry, not Jamie there. Who do I have? Philippe. Yes. Good, 60 seconds. Well done. Okay, so everyone I can see is looking really good. Nice and controlled as you shrug the shoulder blades together. Push back up. That's it, shrugging shoulder blades together. We're just over halfway. Push back up. Really nice. Elbows stay straight. Good. We have just on 15 seconds to go. Remember, you can come to your knees at any time. Well done. Keep going if you can for these last 5. So we're really working on that core, your shoulder stability. 2 and 1. Pause there. Good. Just roll out those wrists if you need to in between. Okay. You know what's coming. Side to side squats. Back position. Okay, so 60 seconds. You're going to turn those toes out. All right. And when you're ready, remember, wall for support if you need. We're going to sink down nice and low, so as low as you can go, wherever that happens to be. Use your heels. We're using that hamstring to pull and transition to the other side. Good. If you have the weight, you can pop that under your chin. Remember, if you need a bit of assistance, you can also walk your fingertips across the floor. Good. Really nice. That's it. So we're actively pulling the knees nice and wide. So starting to open up inside edge of the hip. Lovely. You can sit there and you can work your ankle and knee mobility on one side for a moment if you like before you transition back. See, and just see how that left side feels compared to your right. Guys, really nice. Ones I can see are looking really good. Stay as low as you can. We have 15 seconds to go, so really try and pull your hips down as you make that transition. Good. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And pause there. So hopefully you're feeling a little bit looser through that second set, guys. So sometimes second set is really beneficial because we've learned the movement, body's ready to go through that range. Okay, so kneeling squats or squat rocks. So starting with those toes tucked under. Again, if you need that assistance, grab your chair or the wall, and when you're ready, rocking back, and I'm rocking to flat feet. Then trying to control as I come back to my knees. Rocking to flat feet. That's it. So your position of your torso will probably change as well to keep you balanced. I'm going to lean forward just slightly in my squat. I'm probably going to lean back slightly as my knees come forward. Well done. Really nice. Okay, 30 seconds to go. Good, so focus. Yeah, use fingers are fine, guys, if you need them. Focusing on your control, particularly as you're coming back from your squat. Well done. Last 10 seconds. One more rep. Skim the knees. Last rep. And you may pause there. All right. Walk those legs around if you need to. Grab a quick drink. Now, if you have access to that chair or that bench, guys, or a lounge, we're going to use that for our next set of exercises. If you don't have access to that, we also have space, or we can just do these exercises on the floor. So I am going to give you a few options. I'm just going to, while you're running around having a quick drink, I'm going to go through what we're doing. So we're going to run through some dips. So with your dips, my hands are just outside of my hips, okay? Bent knees will be your easiest option, and I'm going to sink my hips straight down, okay? Pushing back up. If you'd like to make this a bit harder, we can take the feet a little bit further away. Okay, or you can elevate them on another chair if you like. If you don't have access to a bench, you can go straight into your push-up. So it's another pushing option, similar muscle groups, elbows in, and you have that exercise to do instead. That's your first exercise. Second exercise, let's just start with those. So guys, we're going here for a 3-second negative, and we have a full second's pause at the bottom. So it'll be 3, 2, 1. I'm going to stop. Push back up. All right, 10 reps, getting yourself ready to go. And let's start now. So 3, 2, 1, pause, push back up. Good. 3, 2, 2, pause, push back up. 3, 2, 3, pause, push back up. Good. 3, 2, 4, pause, push back up. Bend your knees if you need to. 3, 4, 5, pause, push back up. Good. 3, 2, 6, pause, push back up. Almost there. 3, 2, 7, pause, push back up. 3, 2, 8, pause, lovely, straight back up. 2 more. 3, 2, 9, pause, straight back up. Last one. 3, 2, 10, pause, push back up. Lovely, guys, have a break there. So we're back in shoulder extension, so we're training this movement. So putting the shoulders on stretch on the chest, but making sure we're working strength in that range as well. Next exercise, you guys are probably familiar with these, your Bulgarian split squats. So I'm going to elevate my foot on the chair behind me, okay? And we're going for 1 1/4 reps. So I'm going to sit down as low as I can. I'm doing a little half pulse at the bottom and straight back up. Now, where you place your foot, guys, will influence whether you feel it in your quads or your glutes more. So if I have a slight forward body lean and I sit back into my hip, I'm going to get a little bit more glute, okay? If I have a shorter stance and I'm more upright, my knee goes over my toe, I'm going to get a bit more quad. You choose what is most comfortable for you. All right, we have 10 reps. Are you ready to go? So 1 foot up on the bench. All right, and let's go down for 1. It's a little quarter pulse at the bottom, all the way back up. Good. 2, quarter pulse, all the way back up. 3, pulse, all the way up. Good. 4. If you have weights, you can add them in. Pulse. And up. 5. So you're going as low as you can. Pulse. And up. 6. Good. Pulse. Nicely done. Really nice. 7. Pulse. And up. 8. Good. Pulse. And up. 9. Pulse. Good. And up. Last one. Down for 10. Pulse. And up. Okay. Shake those legs out if you need to. We're going to move on to your other side. Set yourself up. Make sure you're trying to spread your toes across the floor for balance as well. When you're ready. Okay. Let's go down for 1. Quarter pulse. And up. 2. Pulse. And up. 3. Pulse. And up. Good. 4. Pulse. And up. 5. Pulse. Good. All the way up. 6. Pulse. And up. 7. Pulse. Good. Coming up. 8. Pulse. And up. 2 more. 9. Pulse. And up. Last one. 10. Pulse. And up. All right. Guys, really well done. Shake those legs out if you need to. Grab a quick drink. We have 3 rounds here, so that's the first round. So with your dips this time, we have a quarter pulse at the bottom. So the same movement, or your push-ups. So I'm going all the way down, a little quarter pulse, and I'm pushing back up. All right, getting yourself ready to go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and let's go. So your first rep, quarter pulse, and back up. Good. 2, quarter pulse, and back up. 3, quarter pulse, and up. Good. 4, keep going, and up. 5, elbows are tucked in, and up. 6, quarter pulse, and up. 7, really nice, sitting as low as you can, and up. 8, quarter pulse. 9, quarter pulse, and up. Last one, let's go all the way down, elbows in for 10, and up. Okay, have a break there. So guys, whether you're getting this through your triceps, or you may actually be feeling quite a big stretch through the chest, maybe across the front of the shoulder and biceps. So if we're a little bit tighter through those muscles, we put them on stretching your dips, which is why you'll be feeling it there. Okay, so with your Bulgarian split squats this time, we have a 3-second negative. So I'll be going down over 3, 2, 1, and standing straight back up. So no pulse this time, but a slow eccentric. All right, when you're ready, getting yourself set. So full range of movement, try and keep your hips facing forwards if you can. And let's go down for 1, 3, 2, 1. Now drive back up, spread your toes and use them. 3, 2, 2, drive back up. 3, 2, 3, good. 3, 2, 4, drive back up, good. 3, 2, 5, nice. 3, 2, 6, well done. 3, 2, hang in there. 7, let's go, last 3. 3, 2, 8, good. 3, 2, 9, lovely, all the way down. 3, 2, 10, pushing up. Good, shake those legs out. How are we feeling, guys? Are we getting through okay? Rest is enough so far? Change your legs over. Let's match it up on your second side. And down we go. 3, 2, 1. Good. 3, 2. So actively pull yourself down into this. Good. 3, 2, 3. So try and squeeze yourself towards the floor at the bottom. 3, 2, 4. Good. 3, 2, 5. Nicely done. Halfway. 3, 2, 6. 3, 2, 7. Almost there. 3, 2, 8. Okay, last 2. Nice and low. 3, 2, 9. One more. 3, 2, 10. And up. Guys, looking really good. Walk those legs out if you need to. Now we have one more set. So we have push and we have that squat movement. So about 30 seconds rest. Grab a drink if you need it. Okay. So with your last set of dips, only 8 reps, but we have a double pulse at the bottom. So wherever your feet are, we're going down. We have 2 pulses, and then I'm going to come all the way back up. Only 8 reps though, so a little bit more time in that stretched position. Okay, I'm glad you made it back, Adonna. All right, we're ready to go. And down for 1, so all the way down. Good, 2 pulses at the bottom, nice and controlled. So we don't want to bounce. All the way back up. Down for 2. 2 pulses. All the way back up. 3. Good, 2 pulses. Yeah, this is where it gets hard. All the way back up. 4. Good, double pulse. Yep, nice and controlled. All the way back up. 5. Guys, if you can't do 2 pulses, do 1. 2 pulses, but try and stay in time otherwise. Good, 6. 2 pulses. All the way back up. 2 more, 7. Good, pulse. Pulse. All the way back up. Last one, 8. Pulse. Good, pulse. How are we going? And finishing at the top. All right, you survived your dips. Guys, I'm not going to make you do any more push-ups or dips, I promise. But we do have one more set of Bulgarians. Okay, so with this set, 5 reps, we have a 5-second descent and a 5-second hold. So that is going to look like, I'll do this quickly, but a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down the bottom, hold, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand straight back up. So only 5 reps, but more time under tension. Okay. All right, let's get that first foot up on the bench. And away we go. So it's down over 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now hold for 5, 4. Keep your weight on this front foot. 3, 2, 1. Driving up. Down we go. 5. Whoops. 4, 3, 2, 1. Weight on the front foot. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Up we go. Down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 5. Good. Pull down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Last 2 reps. Down we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Weight on the front foot. 4, 3, 2, 1. Up we go. Last one. 5, 4, 3, 2. Hang with me. 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pushing up. All right, walk those legs out. Hopefully you can't hear me huffing and puffing through the mic. Second side, last set. Foot comes up. All right, okay. Down we go, over 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the bottom. 5, hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Driving up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 5. Weight in that front foot. 3, 2, 1. Good. 3 to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Last 2. Nice and strong. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice and strong. Last one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Guys, nicely done. So a bit of quads, hopefully a bit of glutes. Walk those legs out for a second. Grab a quick drink if you need to. When you come back, we're going to come into a standing position. Okay, so we're going to work on a little bit more hamstring and glute in this one. So that was a little bit more quad focused. So we're going to come into some single leg RDLs. So I'm just going to show you what they look like while you're having a quick break. Now, if you have a stick, guys, or a weight, you have the option of using this. You might like to place it across, sorry, I have the stick there across my upper back. You don't have to. You can also have your hands on your hips. So your two options are toe support, soft knees, and I'm pushing my tailbone back towards that wall behind me. So I have a long spine, but I'm putting most of my weight into my front leg. So I'm getting that hamstring, okay? To make it a little bit harder, you can have that leg behind. I'm going to hinge forwards. Okay, there's a little bit more balance here. Trying to keep the body horizontal, standing back up. All right, now I'm not going to count these reps. We're going to go for 45 seconds on each side so you can focus on your balance and your own timing. Alrighty, when you're ready, getting yourself set to go. So soft knee, toe support if you wish, or foot behind. 45 seconds, let's start now. So I would like you to control as you lower down. Only go as far as you can, keeping your spine long, and then I stand back up and I push my hips forward gently. Okay, so where do we feel this one? We want to feel a bit of hamstring, maybe a little bit in the glute. Good. So I'm really focusing on pushing my hip back towards that wall behind me. If you're floating that back leg up, your front knee is soft, so I can have a soft bend in it. Oops. Whoop. And you're aiming to keep your body just like a seesaw. So I'm trying to keep it quite flat. So I'm really squeezing the glute on my back leg. Okay, we've got 5 seconds to go. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Let's swap. We'll start in 5 seconds, so we'll go straight to the other side. 4, 3, 2, away we go. So you can change. You might do a few reps with the toe down. That's it. You might play with a few reps where that foot comes up behind. So guys, if the foot's coming up behind, keep the leg as straight as possible, and we're really trying to squeeze this glute. That's going to help keep us balanced. So really squeezing the glute. If you're hinging, yep, you're just like a seesaw. So we're trying to stay as straight as possible. Good, so if you have that toe support, sit back into that hip. Well done. We've got 10 seconds to go. Yeah, if you have that weight, you can also hold weights or a kettlebell down in front of you if you like. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. All right, I'm gonna get you to, or you now have the chance to lay down. So I'm gonna get you to lie on your back, guys, and we're going to work in a bridge position. So what I'm doing here, when you start, I'll just show you very quickly, I have my feet and my knees together, okay? I'm gonna lift into a bridge. From there, I'm trying not to arch either. We wanna sort of keep that straight line so I can just see my knees. Hands on the floor. I'm going to extend one leg straight, but my knees are still together. Come back down, and I'm trying to do that without sinking, okay? If you want to make it harder, we take our hands off the floor, all right? Let's see how we go. So we have 60 seconds. When you're ready, let's go in 3, 2, and 1. So my feet and knees are together. We lift up. You can have your hands on the floor for balance. And then if you'd like to make this harder, I'm going to push through one foot, lift my other one up. But we keep our knees together. So my knees are always touching. Good. If you're feeling anything in your lower back, lower your hips just a little bit. Nice, otherwise should just be able to see the hips as I look up towards my knees. Well done. So we're pushing through the whole foot on the supporting leg. I'm using my toes, I'm using my heel. Nice and slow. Try and squeeze for a second at the top. That's it. If you'd like to make it a bit harder, bring those hands up towards the ceiling. So we're just incorporating a little bit more core, a little bit more balance. 15 seconds to go. Good, keep working there. Keep the hips as high as you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pausing there. All right, lovely. Roll yourself back to your feet. Let's go for another set on each of these. So guys, we'll see how we go for time. I think we should get through 3 sets. Okay, the other option, if you have a stick, a broomstick or a towel or a band, if you'd like to make this harder again, when we hinge, I can either push the band or the stick forward, or same thing, when I hinge, I can take my arms up above my head. So it's going to challenge balance a little bit more if you'd like to. 45 seconds. Let's go in 3, 2, and 1. So if you're hinging, I'm sitting back into that hip. Might get a bit of a stretch through the hamstring. Good, stand back up. You can play around with where your back foot goes. If you take it a little bit further back, you should have a little bit more weight in that front leg. I'm still trying to push my weight back into that glute. That's it. Good, so the spine stays nice and long. Just coming up to halfway here. And again, you have the option, if you like, lifting that back leg up behind. Try and keep your hips facing the floor here. Really nice. If you can, trying to squeeze that back leg straight. If you can, squeeze that glute. It should be nice and tight. Last 10 seconds. Good. 4, 3, 2, and pause there. Okay, shake those legs out if you need. We'll jump straight onto the other side. Okay, so soft knee on the standing leg. So guys, if you want to straighten that leg completely, you can. It will be a bit more hamstring dominant. So that bent knee usually allows us to get a little bit more glute. And if we're very tight in the hamstrings, the soft knee also allows us to keep a flatter spine so we're not rounding. Alrighty, and away we go. 45 seconds, starting now. So hinging back, so we want to hinge as far forward as we can. That's it. Good, so just working on that length through your spine. And guys, as your hamstrings warm up, as you warm into this movement, you might find you can actually get a little bit lower without that spine rounding. Nice. Halfway through, last 20 seconds. That's it. Good, keep going here, we've got 10 to go. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pause there. All right, nicely done. Let's jump straight back down onto our back and go into our glute bridge work. So we'll rest after this exercise. We'll go in 5 seconds. So bringing your feet and your knees together if you can. So my knees here, so feet under my knees, and away we go. So we're going to lift the hips up, squeeze the glutes, guys. You should feel that they're quite tight if you want to check in. Knees are together as you extend one leg, lower back down. So I'm squeezing my knees together. Yep, so I just make that nice straight line. So if I'm looking down my tummy or up towards my knees, you can just see my toes. So I'm really working to keep my hips facing up to the ceiling there as you extend one leg. So try not to let the hips dip or shift or twist. All right, halfway. Sorry, a bit more than that, last 15 seconds. Well done. Good, if we're starting to sink in the hips, see if you can lift them just back up to that straight line. 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower down. All right, and guys, very nice. So we have one more round on each of these. Now, with your last set of RDLs, or your hinge work, what I would like you to count as you go through these is a 3-second descent, so 3, 2, 1 on the way down, and I'd like you to hold for 3, 2, 1 before you stand back up. So a 3-second descent, a 3-second hold, and then stand up. So we have 45 seconds. All right, let's go in 3, 2, 1. So I'm lowering down over 3, 2, 1, and I'm holding at the bottom for 3 seconds. So wherever those hands are, good, and then lifting back up. Okay, so 3 seconds to get to your lowest position. Wherever you are, a 3-second hold, and then standing back up. So there's a few variations there that you can work on. Good, nice and slow. See, keeping your balance in that bottom position as well. Last 20 seconds. Okay. Good, and we're focusing on, if we can, focusing on getting a little bit lower each time with that long spine. Holding for 3, lifting back up. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Easy done. All right, let's go straight to your other side. 3, 2, away we go. So we're lowering down over 3 seconds. I don't mind where the hands are. Good, sitting back into that hip, 3-second hold. Coming back up. Lovely. So guys, these are looking really good. If you are floating that leg up behind you, and some of you are, as we get tired, this is where the balance is going to start to become more of a challenge as well. Nicely done. 20 seconds to go. Good, make a note of where you're feeling this. So hopefully it'll be hamstrings, glutes. You might even notice it through the ankle. If you're working quite hard to balance there, hopefully we're not getting too much lower back. Last 10. Okay. 3, 2, and 1. Nicely done. All right, guys, let's come back down to our last bridge. Last bridge for tonight. Okay, so feet and knees together. Let's get this done. When you're ready, let's start to lift those hips. Okay, clock is on, so squeezing your feet and your knees together. Away we go. So lifting one leg at a time. Really try and keep the knees together as much as we can. So we're working through the adductors there as well. Hands up towards the ceiling if you're in, to challenge your stability there, your balance a little bit more. Good. All right, last 20 seconds. Again, if you're getting any issues through your lower back, you can always lower your hips just a touch. Feel free to check in with the glutes. Give them a bit of a tap. Make sure they're firing for you. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pausing there. Guys, really nice. Okay, quick drink if you need it, and then we will move into some core. So grab a mouthful of water if you like, and then I'll just let you know what we need. So I'll get you to grab 2 yoga blocks or 2 thick books. Now these are optional, but they will make the exercise easier if it's not one that you've done before. So we're going to, one of the exercises, guys, will be our L-sit lifts. So if you're using the blocks or the books, they're going to go just outside your hips, and my hands face out. So my fingers are facing out over the sides of the blocks. So I'm going to be using my shoulder blades here, okay? So my shoulders might start up near my ears, but then my goal is to lift my hips off the floor, and I'm doing that by pulling my shoulders down. So side on, it would be pulling your shoulders down, lift your hips off the floor. The blocks make it a little easier, so blocks can go under your hands if you like. Now, if you would like to make this harder, we have 10 lifts and a 10-second hold. To make it harder, when we push down, we also lift the feet, and then I lower. So lift the feet and lower. To make it easier, we're going to leave the feet on the floor. So 10 reps, and then we have a 10-second hold at the top of the last one. So blocks, if you wish to use blocks, we're going to lean a little bit forward. Okay, I think we're all set up and good to go. All right, so bring those blocks in so they're right in close to your hips. So we don't want to be too wide, hands right in under your shoulders. And let's go, pushing up for 1, hold. Now lower down slowly, good. 2, hold, slowly come down. 3, hold, slowly come down. 4, hold, if it's too easy, lift one leg up, slowly come down. 5, hold, slowly come down, good. 6, hold, slowly come down. Try it with a foot off the floor for 7, hold, slowly come down. 8, hold, good, slowly down. 9, hold, and down. Okay, up we go, 10 seconds. Lift one leg up if we can, hold. 5, hold. 4, 3, 2, swap sides. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down, okay? So a little bit of core, but a bit of straight arm strength work through the shoulders. Okay, pop those blocks to the side, guys. We have some side over arches. So I'm going to place my top foot in front here for balance, and my hand goes under my shoulder. So 2 options. Full option, I'm going to push down through my shoulder, and as I push down, I'm going to lift my hips and push my hips up to the ceiling. So I'm arching over, lowering down, skim the floor, go back up and over. To make it easier, drop one knee. So I'm going to use the knee for a bit of support. Alrighty, we have 10 reps. One hand under your shoulder, top foot in front, and away we go. So I'm pushing this hip up to the ceiling for 1. Good. 2. So we're using arrow obliques, but we have that full range through the arch. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. Good, try and push the floor away. 8. 9. One more. 10. Nicely done. Okay, change your sides. Let's see how the other side compares. So a bit of strength through the shoulder, but also working your obliques. Hand under the shoulder for support, top foot in front. And when you're ready, up we go. So bottom knee can stay down if you need. 1. Good. 2. That's it. 3. Well done. 4. Create the biggest arch that you can in your side at the top. 5. Try and push the side towards the ceiling. 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. All right, well done. That was really nice. So grab a yoga block if you have it. We have one more exercise in this series, and then we will repeat them one more time. So we're going into some around the world. So this is for our trunk stability, and mobility and our oblique strength. So if you have that yoga block, we're going to hold it over the head. If you don't, you can just have your hands up over the head. So what I'm looking to do here, I'm looking to side bend. So I want to keep my chest facing forward. So I'm going to bend as far as I can. When I can't go any further, I sweep. So I push that block out in front, I get to the side, and I side bend, and I pull up from that oblique. Then I go back the other way. So it's a side bend, not a forward bend. Okay, let's see how we go. 60 seconds, one to your left, one to your right. Away we go now. So side bend, sweep through the front, and then I'm trying to look under my arm and pull up from my side. Okay. Other way. Sweep through the front. Good. Pull up from the side. Beautiful. Keep going at your own pace. Linda, I love your choice of weight. I think Linda must have her little niece or nephew or something. Good. Side bend. Gently sweeping through the front. Good, keep going. Now make sure we're squeezing our glutes as well. So nice. If it's too much, bring your hands down behind your head. So we're taking that trunk through its full circle. We've got 15 seconds to go. Lovely. Let's get one more in each way. Strong side bend. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely, guys. All right, one more round on each. We should get this done in just a couple of minutes. Let's come straight back into a seated position. If you'd like to try this, make it a little harder, you can place your hands on the floor. So that'll be your harder option. All right, 10 reps. If we can, let's lift one foot off the floor for the first 5 and then swap. And ready, let's go for 1. Good. 2. That's it. 3. 4. 5. Swap sides. 6. 7. Lovely. 8. 2 more. 9. Up, hold. 5 seconds here. 4. 3. 2. Now swap legs. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Lower down. Too easy, guys. Okay, done with that one. Side over arches. 10 reps. Top foot in front, bottom knee stays down if you need to. Hand is under your supporting shoulder. All right, and my fingers are facing away from me. When you're ready there, let's push those hips up to the ceiling for 1. Good. 2, so making the biggest arch that you can. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. Last 4. 8. Just take a break if you need. 9. Then jump in when we do the other side. And 10. All right. Change your sides over. Guys, if anyone has wrist issues, you can pop down on your elbow and just do hip lifts if that's better for your wrists. Okay, hand under the shoulder. Last set here. Let's go up and over for 1. Good. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. Last few. 8. 9. Good. Full arch at the top. 10. Well done. Guys, they're quite hard as well. We are taking quite a bit of body weight there on one hand and one shoulder. Okay, around the world. One more set. Coming into your standing straddle. These were looking really good. Easier option, hands behind the head. Harder option, block overhead. Let's go in 3, 2, and 1. So I'm going to push that block away. Nice strong side bend. Then sweep. So I'm pushing the block away as I sweep through the front. Look under the elbow. Side bend to lift. Good. That's it. Lovely. So these can be quite slow if you like. Working all the way around. That's it. Last 15 seconds. Good. So we're trying to crunch through one side. Rotate. Lift up through that other oblique. Last 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. And We are done. Guys, really, really good work. That was quite a tough one.